What is going on, everybody? Today's video is going to be a quick little product update of our E36 center dash panels. So what comes in the kit is obviously the carbon fiber dash filler itself, the brackets, which are now 3D printed, the J-clips, and the screws. Alright, so I want to thank our friends up at Autosport Fab in Connecticut for sending us this chunk of a dash to kind of do this install video, as well as use it to mock up our new 3D printed brackets. This can be installed in the car. Obviously for video purposes we're doing it outside of the car, but you'll have some sort of the factory plastic bracket right here, as you can see. There is normally 4 screws on the back side of this that you need to remove this whole piece. You can see this one was cut up to clearance, roll cage or something, whatever the case may be. Once that's out, you'll be able to use these 4 mounting points to install the brackets. Now the new 3D printed brackets, these are prototypes. The production pieces will be black. I think it just looks a little bit nicer. So you can see that there's 2 different lengths, and the ones with the curve in them have a little arrow printed on them. That goes from the dash pointed to the inside of the cockpit of the car. Alright, so it should be obvious which one goes where. The long ones would go what would technically be the passenger side, arrow pointing to the inside of the car. You don't need to tighten them down super firm. You don't need to snug these down a ton, especially because the holes on the dash filler and these may not line up perfectly. So if they're snug, you can see how rotating this just a little bit will move this mounting point up and down a little bit. So you might want to wait on tightening these up completely. The longer brackets, you can see, are just 90-degree ends, so it doesn't matter which way they go, they're the same. Alright, so as you can see, here's our 4 points. We now need to slip the J-clips on. Now, just a really quick little install tip. You kind of want to push these in sideways at first, and then rotate them the way the screw will go, being tightened. The reason you don't want to just push on them this way, you could possibly break the bracket. So pushing them in sideways as they're supported. The ones on the right side will rotate clockwise. So same thing for these ones. Once you get them on, rotate them clockwise. Alright, so now all of our J-clips are on. We're going to do an initial test fit just to make sure the holes line up. And let's see. I can see through all the J-clips on all of them, so we're pretty much right on. And now just to finish it up, most dashes have like a little bit of a, whoops, we're out of camera right here. A lot of dashes, you know, they should have, since they're all factory built, should have some sort of lip right on the top. It's very, very small, but we try and make these as accurate as possible, so they can almost rest on that upper lip, and it looks pretty good. So at this point, we're going to get all of our screws started. And these screws should be pretty easy to turn, since the J-clips and the screws are the same, are meant to mate to each other. Alright, so now that all of our screws are tightened, remember we left the screws on the back only snug, so we're just going to come in Give them a real quick hit. Alright, and there you go. It's pretty much that simple. So one last thing to note, these cars are starting to show their age, and a lot of times by the time you get to needing a dash filler like this, it's because the dash was out, you turn it into a race car, you have a roll cage. There's a lot of mounts around the dash that could hold this a little bit crooked or skewed, or up or down. So if you have any weird gaps, more often than not, it's because the dash was reinstalled in the car almost crooked. So play with that, and you should be able to get pretty nice gaps all the way around. Alright, so that's about it. As you can see, there's really not much to it. You now have a nice place to mount any gauges or switches. If you want one of these, a link directly to it will be in the video description below. As always, guys, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.